Hello again everyone and welcome to Ukulele Land. Today it's time to start work. But after a while you'll discover that working on the ukulele becomes fun. So it's not really work at all. Chords, our first chords. Chords come in families. There's thousands of them. The good news is that to play a song you probably only need 3 or 4. Depending on the key you're playing in. What does he mean by a key? Forget the jargon for now. Forget the theory. Chords come in families that go lovely together. And the first family of chords we're going to work on the ukulele is the C family. There's 4 of them. You can see them up here. There's a C major. There's an F major. There's an A minor chord and there's a G major chord. And if you've not played before, that's gobbledygook to you. The good news is that once you learn these 4 shapes on the ukulele, you can then play thousands of songs. And at the end of this video here today, I'm going to show you some of the songs that you can learn if you learn these 4 shapes. The good news is they're not super complicated and we're not going to worry about what notes they are or anything like that. We're just going to worry about playing. So the first chord for our ukulele is the C major chord. The good news is it's just 1 finger on the bottom string. Well, technically this is called the top string because it's the highest note. But I'm probably going to keep calling it the bottom string because it's nearest the ground. So on this string, we're going to press in on what's called the 3rd fret. This is called the 1st fret, the 2nd fret, the 3rd fret, the 4th fret, or if you like, the space between the actual fret wires, if you want the technical term. So then, time to go. I'm going to put my ring finger on this string on the 3rd fret and I'm going to press it in nice and firm so that I've shortened the string. It's no longer playing this note, it's now playing this note. And if I strum all 4 of those together, I get a nice C major chord. It's as difficult as that, it's as easy as that. Just make sure you have a nice kind of curly, positive kind of curl on your finger. That you don't leave it kind of flat down like that. Make sure it's curling in and stabbing in on it. We'll show you a picture over it here as well. There's your C major chord. How long would that take you to learn? Somewhere between 5 seconds and 5 weeks, depending on how often you practice. What we want to do is to get that nice and automatic. C chord, finger off, C chord, finger off, C chord. And while this might be a little bit advanced, it actually would be really important for you also to learn to make that with your pinky. The reason being, when it gets more advanced, you can do an awful lot by learning that with your pinky. Please don't play it with your 1st finger or your 2nd finger, or you're just causing problems for yourself. Ring finger, perfect. Pinky, perfect. So, time to move on to our next chord. Let me see. A minor. Another super complex chord. 1 finger again. Except this time, it's in this 2nd fret. So I'm probably going to play it with my 2nd finger or my ring finger. No, sorry, not my ring finger, my middle finger, which goes on the very top string like that. So my C chord was down here. My A minor chord is up here on top. And again, I have a nice positive arch on that. You can see a picture of it over there. When you strum that, one of the differences between the C chord and the A minor chord is that the C chord tends to sound happy-ish, whereas the A minor chord tends to sound a bit sad. In fact, all the minor chords sound sad. That's a bit more theory, or some people might call it a waffle. Minor chords, sad. Major chords, happy. So, your first job really is to switch between those two chords. And get used to switching between C and A minor. A song I use for doing that is a song you may or may not know, Hallelujah by Leonard Cohen or Jeff Buckley. And the first line of that just switches between those two. I heard there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord. And that's how I learned my first two chords on my ukulele. I just sang that line over and over and over, and I didn't do any fancy right hand strumming yet. I'm working on my left hand, learning 4 chords. I heard there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord. How long will that take you to learn? 5 seconds? 5 weeks? 5 months? Depends on how often you take out your ukulele. We'll go again. I heard there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord. And when you get comfortable doing that, I really would like you to play that with your pinky. And I'd like you to try and get your ring finger playing A minor as well. It's not for now. That's a little bit more advanced for later on. But it would be good to get both of those fingers working. So here it is with my pinky and my ring finger. I heard there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord. Quite frankly, it doesn't matter whether you use your nose to hold it down for A minor, or whether you use your thumb held upside down backways to play a C chord. Don't know how you do that though. I heard that there was a secret chord. Why would you do it? You wouldn't. You learn your techniques and you learn the right way at the start so that you don't learn bad habits. So 2 ways to play those 2 chords. Third finger, or should I say ring finger and middle finger. I heard there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord. Or pinky and ring finger. I heard there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord. And you've now learned C major and you've learned A minor. That's halfway to being able to play thousands and thousands of songs. The next chord we're going to learn in our ukulele is called F major. Nice big fancy chord. A very difficult chord initially to learn on the guitar. And is one of the reasons people really find guitar difficult at the start, because they try to learn an F chord and, well, sometimes they use a different F word to describe the F chord. It might go before the F, but on the ukulele it's a lovely chord to learn. Let's make our A minor shape. My middle finger is up on the top string on the 2nd fret, and I'm going to use my first finger and I'm just going to put it on the second string from the bottom. So it's 2-fingered chord. Now it is important that I'm not clipping this string here, or my first finger is not touching this bottom string either. I want 4 nice sounds. And initially it can be a bit difficult to try and get those fingers with a nice kind of positive arch so that they're stabbing in on the ukulele fretboard. That's F. Easiest way to make it is actually to go from A minor and then put on your first finger. F chord. A minor, F chord. So if we started with those 3, 1 finger C, 1 finger A minor, 2 finger for F. And there we see a picture of our F chord over there. So you've got to just practice those 3 shapes. So now we need a song that's going to bring in those 3 chords for us so that we can keep practicing them. And as I said at the start, we're using Hallelujah because it does. So let's go. I heard there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord, but you don't really... That was an F chord I used there at the end. Do that again. I heard that there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord, but you don't really... And then it wants to go on again. Last time. I heard that there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord, but you don't really... There's nothing going on fancy with my right hand at all. It's just single gentle strum with my thumb, and I'm working on C chord and A minor chord and an F chord. 2 fingers. I would like you to work on them with your pinky. I heard there was a ring finger, a secret chord, pinky, that David played and it, ring finger, please the Lord, and bring in your middle one for your F. But you don't really... That's a little more advanced because we're not used to using our pinky that much. This first way has ring finger, middle finger, and bring in my first finger to make the F. And the second way, I'd like you to use pinky for C, ring finger for A minor, and bring in your middle finger for F. That even for me is not something I practice too often. I tend to use ring finger, middle finger, and add on my first finger for F. But I know myself that the more I have learnt about the ukulele, the more useful it is. Really, really, really useful. Instead using that pinky. So those are 3 of the 4 most important chords in the key of C. So if you know how to sing the first line of Hallelujah, I heard there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord, but you don't really... You've learnt 3/4 of the chords you need to play thousands and thousands of songs. There is one more chord that's a little more tricky, and that's a G chord. So I'm going to have to think about how I'd learn to play it. So then, on to the G chord, the last one we have to learn, and probably the trickiest, because it ends up using 3 fingers. And we'll put a picture of it up over there for a start. And for me, when I'm making it, I tend to start with my index finger. I tend to put that on the ukulele first. So I'll move in a little bit closer so as you can see what's going on here. My first finger goes up on that string. My ring finger goes on the bottom string in the same fret, second fret. And my first finger goes up there. My middle finger goes on the bottom string, and my ring finger goes on the middle string next door. It's like a little triangle. And it can feel quite awkward at the start. That's not a bad picture of it there now. First finger. Second finger. Ring finger. And when I'm doing that initially, it's kind of like 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And that's a G chord. I'll do that again. 1, 2, 3. And that took me there now when I was counting it in my head. It took a count of maybe 2 seconds. Let's go again. 1, 2, 3. Play it. Do it again. First finger, second finger, ring finger. And I do know, being quite honest, that feels quite awkward to play at the start. But there is no real cure for these chords other than to take your time, make it, play it, make it, play it, make it, play it. And after a few days, your own brain and your fingers start remembering that as muscle memory. They really, really do. One-fingered C chord, straightforward. One-fingered A minor chord, straightforward. Changing an A minor to an F by adding a second finger, straightforward. G chord is going to take a little bit of time. 1, 2, middle next door. But over a period of 2 or 3 weeks, if you take out your ukulele and practice those 4 chords, after about 2 weeks, you don't even know you're making them. They just become automatic. And then you get to try your pinky. 1 finger C, 1 finger A minor, 2 finger F, and your normal G, 1, 2, 3. And suddenly, after 2 weeks, you know how to tune your ukulele. Takes you a few seconds. And you know your 4 chords in the key of C, so you're ready to play. And my first song, as I said, that I learned was Hallelujah, because it uses those 4 chords. Here's the start of it. I heard there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord, but you don't really care for music, do ya? Da, 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 da. And I'm just going to put that line up here on the bottom of my screen just for you to practice with. It's a C that goes to A minor, a C that goes to A minor, and F that goes to G, and C and G. And I would say to you, over the first 2 weeks, whether you like the song or not, just practice the 4 chords and sing just that line with it until you have the 4 of those nailed on in your head. And by the way, while we're going to do some playlists of songs, trí Gaeilge, nursery rhymes and folk songs and stuff later on, using those 4 chords, an awful lot of songs, thousands of them use them. Let me see, something well known in Ireland. Dolores Keane, Caledonia. If you're a young person, you probably never heard of this. I don't know if you can see the changes that have come over me. I went C, G, A minor, F. And that song actually just repeats those all the way through. I don't know. What was I saying? Oh yes, I don't know if it's these past few days I've been afraid that I might drift away. Another song that uses the exact same Let It Be by the Beatles. That's probably one you've heard of. That actually would do the same thing. When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me. I think that's exactly the same pattern. Nathan Carter, Wagon Wheel. Rock me mama like a wagon wheel. Rock me mama any way you feel. I would like you to just practice the first two lines of Hallelujah. Sing along with it. To practice your C chord, your A minor chord, your F chord and your G chord. And when you can switch automatically between those four chords, then you are ready to learn thousands of songs. And I mean thousands of songs. But you've just got to nail down those four shapes. And best of all, try and nail your C with your index finger and with your pinky. Or with your ring finger and your pinky. Try and get your A minor with your second and your ring finger, and try to do the same with the F. After that, we'll probably, for us to change the keys of songs or make the sounds higher or lower, lots of people use what's called a capo, which is kind of a way of changing all this. Makes the guitar sound higher or lower. Oops, daisy, makes the ukulele sound higher or lower. But your first job is to get C automatic, A minor automatic, F automatic and G automatic, and use Hallelujah to sing along with. Last time. I heard that there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord, but you don't really care for music, do you? Da, 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 da. That's all I want you to do. That probably took me 5 or 6 weeks to really do. No fancy strumming going on here with my right hand. I was just a slow strum. But when you learn those four shapes, then you have thousands of songs to do. And then you can start looking at the playlists. Have fun. Ukulele land? Yes, you